So this Mythbuster grad school edition is exactly what it sounds like. So I'm going to present some statements about graduate school, and then we're going to go over whether it's a myth or a fact. I think we have a small enough group that if y'all want to like shout out your answers after I present the statement, you can do that over audio. Throughout it all, feel free to put questions in the chat, and we can try to answer any follow-ups as we go through it. Alrighty, so now we're going to learn about graduate school. All right, so our first myth or fact is at UT Austin, graduate school in the College of Natural Sciences and the School of Engineering is free. All right, so just some guesses in the chat or in over audio. Myth or fact?
I'm gonna say myth. Seems too good to be true.
It's actually a fact. What? Yes. So tuition is included, and on top of that, you're provided with a stipend for your work. So through a lot of these graduate programs, you're particularly PhD programs, some master's programs are different. You're actually an employee of the university as well as a student. So within that, depending on the program, you earn in this like range of stipends. Oh, sorry about that. It depends on what field you're in. Most STEM fields are a little bit higher, and that can also vary depending on the university. So it's actually scaled often for the cost of living in the different cities where you're moving to. In addition to that, UT has something called a family support services that you can apply to. So if you're a graduate student with a family, they provide support for that. And within your stipend, you're also given other benefits that are similar to what you might get as an undergraduate student. The health insurance is actually employee health insurance, so it's better. But you do get access to gyms, pools, the track on campus, and things like free transportation for your commutes. So this is like a really key thing if you're thinking about getting a PhD, is that you actually don't have to pay for graduate school. They're going to pay you over your time there. All right, our next myth or fact is higher education leads to higher salary. Any takers? All right. This one is a fact as well, which is great because I'm a graduate student. So some statistics from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics have shown that as you increase the level of your education from associate's degree up to doctoral degree, they've seen trends of lower unemployment rates and higher median weekly earnings. So this is good news for anyone in higher education, that overall within the US, you actually do earn more the more you are educated. All right. Another myth or fact, a PhD is only for people who want to be a professor or go into academia.
Myth.
Yes, you're right. It is a myth, which is good because that's not what I want to do with my life. So that is true. You need a PhD if you want to be a professor, and that's a great way to go. But generally speaking, jobs related to like being an analyst or having a consulting position, director of something, managerial positions, information specialists, operational researchers, medical scientists, liaisons. Like personally, I want to go into the field of science policy. So a lot of the jobs there with science advising and policy making, you actually need a PhD for, depending on the position you're in. PhD is applicable for all of that. Sometimes, you know, people will go into the workforce and come back for a PhD, but starting out with a PhD is also great. Let's see. Myth or fact? A degree at a state school is not as valued as a degree from a private university. This is a myth. So generally speaking, like a state school versus a private university isn't going to make much of a difference. And regardless, what's really important about your time in graduate school is how you experience graduate school and the opportunities you take advantage of. So you need to think about like how you're obtaining your research experiences and then how that feeds into what mentors and advisors you have. Are they going to be able to provide you with strong letters of recommendation? Are you able to maintain like a strong GPA as you finish your coursework for the degree? Are you applying for all of the awards and fellowships that you have the opportunity to apply for? And fundamentally, like everyone's path is different and, you know, very unique. One thing that applies to both this myth-busting fact and the one that I just went over about careers is that UT has some really good like professional development sources, and this is true as well in other universities. So if you come in and you don't know which direction you want to go or necessarily what the best area is to develop throughout your degree, whether that's research experience or teaching experience, what kinds of recommendations you need, there are resources provided at most larger universities that can help guide you through that process. This one's more about admission into graduate school. Myth or fact? I need a publication as an undergraduate in order to get into graduate school.
Myth.
Yep, that is a myth. Good call. So that's just not true. Publications are really important for your progress in academics, but at the stage where you're applying into graduate school, sometimes it's like a matter of luck where the project was at when you joined it in undergrad, what kind of research experiences you had available on site versus when you did like summer experiences. Fundamentally, the key thing for improving your application is ensuring you're participating in research experiences and that you're working on a project that is capable of being published. And then the references you get from those experiences that can speak to your research skills or your interest in this program, those are all very important. Publication is definitely not a requirement.